Hey everyone, and welcome back to our coding show. My name is Nils, and as almost every week, with me is my friend Judith. Hey Judith.
Hello, hello.
Where did we leave it off last time?
In a big mess. So we tried things.
That's
It
true.
didn't work. And we just discussed it. I was still trying to remember myself what exactly the mess was, what kind of options we had to get out of the mess. So I think that's what we're going to do the first few. I hope it's just going to be minutes of today's episode. So basically, we were trying out the Superbase CLI to auto-generate the types from our database, but somehow we weren't super happy with it, at least for our very simple application, which really only needs one type or one interface, which is a book. So yeah, I think we kind of agreed to ditch all the auto-generated stuff and define that one interface ourselves. But yeah, I still think it's super cool that they have the CLI that you can auto-generate the types. I assume that for bigger projects it could be super useful, but I think for us it's not necessary.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, look
Yeah.
at all this stuff. I'm sure that it makes sense to structure it all this way and that it all builds upon each other and so on. But
Yeah.
this makes me be a little bit more afraid of databases again.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like before, it
totally.
was so transparently hidden away. And I think I really like that we just had. I mean, so what we also did, apart from creating the types, that's sort of where we started. That if we're looking at the diff from our page, so we had our we created the Superbase client right on our index page, like slam just right there, and then used like these lines to get the user to check if they're logged in. And then the only thing that we were also so excited about, right, to get the books is this line where you just say,
Yeah.
Superbase from book select,
Yeah.
yank, books, awesome.
Yeah.
And so we moved the check for authentication or for the user, to get the user, we moved that into the auth service. So it's a little bit more streamlined and we don't have to create the client here. And we did the same thing for the books itself. So let's untangle this, right?
Yes.
And move on with our lives.
Yes, exactly. I would like to stick to this structure of the service. So this service repository pattern, except that we don't have a repository because that's what Superbase does for us.
Yeah.
So I would like to keep the service. I would like to ditch the database file. So maybe you can just kind of revert those changes.
Okay. So what I can kick out is these 3 files for sure, right? Like
what did we exactly?
I think we just installed this as a dev dependency.
Yeah.
So I get rid of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Alert! Irreversible, forever lost. I think I'm going to take a screenshot of this message. It's just so awesome. If you see this one in a production project, really check what you're discarding. Okay. So then
Cool.
we have
that one. We can also,
this stuff, right?
These two can also go.
Oh, I get a second chance for the most amazing pop-up of all times. Awesome.
Cool. That one can also go.
Go.
Nice.
Delete.
Now, these 3,
Yeah.
let's keep them.
That's fine, right?
Yeah. And now the only thing that's missing is the book type. So let's maybe jump. Wait, I will join you in the code somewhere.
So I'll kick out that line first of all.
Exactly. And we still have our book interface, I think, in our book component. So I'm just going to copy that over.
Bam.
But I would like to call it book, I think.
Awesome.
So that's that. Nice.
So interfaces can kind of coexist in the service. I think that's nice.
What do you mean coexist?
Yeah, I was literally just wondering where we put our own funny type definition.
I think we can put them wherever we want. We can put it here. For now, I would kind of say that's fine. Because we have one service which only handles the books, and we will probably only have this one interface in here. If we had more, a pattern we could also use is, so in the services folder, we could create, I think, subfolders for each of the services, and then have one file each for the types and for the service code itself.
Nice. Yeah.
For now, like, we can do that if you prefer. For now, I would say
No.
I'm fine.
I'm always happy if, for stuff to be simple, and this is, I mean, this is like a perfect file for me. Look, the
Nice.
book. Look, we get books. Awesome,
Exactly.
right? Like,
Yeah, that's why, like, sometimes I also like to keep the interfaces where they are being used, because it makes it so much more easy to understand the code. Like, you see the book, you can see directly what kind of properties we have on the book. And we use it. Otherwise, if you kind of have to jump back and forth between different folders and files and everything.
I agree.
Now, I think the only thing we have to change is import this in our book UI component. I don't know why it's not suggesting that to me. From...
Yeah.
Cool.
Why is
Import
it?
book conflicts with...
Yeah, because our function is called book.
Oh, well then let's call it... what exactly does it do? Book...
Yeah, we had that. I think we had that issue before.
That's why we called it book type.
We can also, I
guess.
mean, whatever, yeah. I've seen people like tag the word props at the end to be consistent with their stuff.
Yeah, but it's... Yeah.
Type, I honestly don't have a strong opinion. I'm always lost in these discussions, really.
Yeah, that's true. I think in this case, I would prefer to rename the UI component. But what exactly is it doing? It's just displaying the book, right?
Yeah. I'd also say book display.
Yeah, let's do that. Book display. Cool. So, is it still loading stuff?
I guess that we have to rename this on the page too, since the component name changed now. Right? Oh, it is already.
Yeah, it's usually smart like that, I think.
Sweet. Yeah.
good, right?
So that's working. Yeah, perfect.
Nice. So I would say this was probably a little interlude to see what we can do with the Superbase CLI. It was nice to see it, but we kind of decided not to do it anyway. So I much prefer it this way, to be honest. So that's, I think, what we had left from last week's episode. To clean up a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think we have one little issue still.
Yes.
And that is that not seeing the publication year. So I think we still have a snake case versus camel case issue.
Right.
Which is a little bit sad. Right?
It's a little bit sad.
If we look at this here, then, oops, sorry. We can totally see it's still snake case. So it's like, there's at least no magic going on. Like, nobody's converting this to camel case and back and forth and whatever. I mean,
yeah. Okay,
we can just go like this and then... Right. And then we have the year.
The first thing is there's a nifty little NPM package, I think, which does just that. Camel case to snake and vice versa. So we could use that in our service directly. But what I would find even more awesome if there was an option in Superbase to say like, hey, once we fetch the data, please give it to us in camel case. Like keep the column names snake case, because for some reason that's a convention that we like to stick to, I think.
Yeah.
That database column names are snake case.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we can't be the only ones having this issue, right?
That's true.
I'm gonna see if there's like Superbase.
Should we? I can ask our friend what he thinks of this.
Oh yeah, ask the friend. I'm gonna ask the old school Google friend, and you ask your fancy friend.
All right, I'll ask and say, "Oh, the speech." No, okay. I'm gonna type my question. I wanted to literally ask, but I don't want to install the extension. It's amazing how our work changed, right? In the second birth year of ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Superbase does not provide an automatic way to convert snake case column names to camel case in the service layer. However, you can achieve this by transforming the data in your application code. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, but then let's just install that package maybe, because we're gonna need it the other way around as well. Once we create a book, we will need functionality to convert camel case to snake case, I guess. So let me check what it was called.
So Copilot is suggesting camel case -keys. I don't know, is that the one that you were looking for? I think we had it in season 1 too. Like we were at that point.
Right. So the first one I'm finding is one called change case. Which one did Copilot suggest?
It's talking about camel case .keys dash keys.
Okay.
Oh, that has like a decent 17 million weekly downloads.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably true. Then we will have to install both of them, I think, right? So there's camel case -keys and snake case -keys, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh God, snake case keys. Oh, that has a lot fewer weekly downloads. Why? This is so weird.
But maybe, I don't know. Let's
whatever.
Let's install it.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it. So npmi camel case -keys and also snake case -keys. Right?
Yes.
Get
Let's
it.
go.
Bam!
Cool.
That was
And
fast.
then we're gonna jump in the service.
Book service. Yeah. We can probably just, right?
You know what we're gonna do? We had that, I think, in season 1 as well. Do you remember our like DTO objects?
Yes.
So
we were at the same place in season 1 as well.
So we're basically gonna do the same thing again. The book DTO data transfer object. I don't know if I'm using this convention in the right way, but I think that's what we can often use for these sort of scenarios. So now Superbase is gonna return not an area of books, but an area of book DTOs.
Awesome.
So now, for example, why is it not complaining that we are returning books, which is book DTO, and not book? Anyway, we are gonna return camel case keys of this thing. I don't know. Yeah. Only if books is defined, I guess. Otherwise, we're gonna return null. Still not happy.
Argument of type book DTO array is not assignable to parameter record string unknown read-only record.
But like in the documentation, it's also directly being used on an array of objects. I'm gonna ask Copilot again.
Maybe we just have to don't up here in the function definition.
Yes.
Do we have to also use book DTO?
No, because we don't want to return the book DTO. We want to return the camel case book.
Yes, absolutely right.
Copilot says that we should do this, but I'm very much not happy with it. And also it doesn't work. So I don't like these sort of typecastings.
Maybe it's because we're renaming what comes back, what comes out here. Like, what if if this is just data or whatever, and then we go like data. No.
I still think we would need the curly braces. So like this, I think.
Oh.
What else is returned here, by the way? Probably an error as well. We should at some point catch that and do things with it.
Yeah, it thinks that whatever is coming out of this Superbase call is actually of type record whatever.
This one?
I guess so, but why is it saying that on the return?
Why is it saying what?
Yeah, like, so why is this, in the return statement?
What I'm thinking is, as nice as this camel case keys thing is, it doesn't really have a way, like it can't know the structure of our data, right? So it doesn't really know what kind of strings we put in there, which of them are snake case, which of them aren't.
Yeah.
So it cannot know what it's going to spit out. So in a way, it makes sense that it doesn't know whether what we get out of this part here is actually a book. So I'm kind of, to be honest, inclined to write a function that does that for us. So kind of something like book to book DTO. What did it do? And I'm sure Copilot will just do its magic. Well, now it refuses. So what do we need? And then we can do this. Well, without the camel case keys. Like so.
All right. It is not complaining.
But we're also not seeing the year.
We're
Maybe
not seeing the year. Yeah, exactly. Aha! We are seeing the year. Awesome. Yeah, and also the personal notes, by the way. That's the same.
Yes, very good.
That's the only two. Personal notes.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
I
Nice,
think
you
I
did.
prefer it that way, just because it
Less magical.
it allows us to really handle the types. I don't like it when we use TypeScript and we
Very
mess
cool.
around with the types. So yeah, that's maybe Actually, that means we can get rid of the camel case keys thing again.
Yeah, I'll kick that out in the package too.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you can kick that out in the package, and I will just write the same function in vice versa, kind of.
Cool. I'll clean up the auth service a little bit already. So we also don't have the database things in there anymore. Cool. Yeah, I think this is very nice and explicit. And very transparent. What's happening?
Nice.
It's a little verbose, sure, but then it's very understandable.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, to be honest, I don't mind this kind of approach, not even in bigger projects, because even if you have the types and everything, sometimes you might not need all the data you get from the database in your front end.
Usually
especially
you don't.
When we are working with this kind of REST API, right? We don't have the GraphQL kind of way of saying, I only need this and this and this. Sometimes you get this massive object.
Exactly.
And all you need is the ID.
Yeah.
So in that case, I much prefer to define custom types which specify really what you need. Rather than just having everything. Cool. So I think that's nice. We are back at a working state. We cleaned up our code a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it might be time to create some books.
Awesome.
Cool.
That is very nice. Maybe actually we'll take this one as a learning. And package this episode up as a learning opportunity that yes, there's tooling. There's always another library to install, right? Like there's someone seemingly solved your issue always. But I think this is a very transparent lesson in maybe you don't need it. Maybe it makes your life more complicated. You end up with more dependencies that you only half understand. Right? And sometimes just, put down like 20 lines of code that tell you exactly what's happening without command clicking into your node folders, into other people's repositories with half-assed documentations. Like we all know this, especially in the NPM universe. I would say that's one of the biggest critiques out there in the web development community is, well, yes, the web is open, but there's also stuff that's just not finished or not perfect for your use case, right? Sometimes just do it yourself.
Exactly, especially in times of Copilot and Cursor or whatever other AI coding tool you might be using, because just writing out the function name, in this case, Copilot knew what I was going to do. So you just press tab and you're done. So yeah, I agree. Like, let's not reinvent the wheel. But sometimes, it's also a bit of an overkill, I think, to use yet another library. And I think we've seen that twice now. So for our super simple application, this Superbase CLI generated types was way too much. It was way too much of a hassle, I think. And now also just converting this book from camel case to snake case, and the other way around. It's much more breedable and easy, I think, if we do it ourselves.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Perfect.
Cool.
Let's wrap it up for this one.
Yes.
And let's get to actually writing books to the database in the next episode.
Yeah. Cool.
Maybe even save it to the actual user who created that book, because we're not doing that yet. Like currently, we're base democratizing all the books. Everybody gets everything, which is nice. But we'll make it so that everybody can have their own collection of books. Right? See you on the next one.
See you.